I didn't start with a course, I didn't start with a warehouse. I started this business flipping used textbooks and used iPhones, taking $10 buys and flipping it to $30 profits, straight grinding. Today, that same company moves over $750,000 per month on Amazon. We net over 6 figures profit. Team of 20 employees, multiple warehouses, working with over 30 brands, but it didn't always start out like this. In this video, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I went from reselling textbooks to now owning a company that is partnered with over 30 brands, and we are exclusive or authorized on everything we sell. So going back to the beginning, I started selling on Amazon in 2010. I was underage, it was my mom's account, and all I was selling back then was used textbooks, used Apple products, and anything around my house that had a UPC code. I would scan products, list them on Amazon, and boom, they'd sell the same day. So I had that proof of concept a long time ago. My problem was I didn't have enough product to source. I was using Craigslist, I was selling products from high school friends that would sell their textbooks back to the textbook store. I'd be like, yo, I'll give you $5 more if you sell it to me. So over a while, I started accumulating more and more textbooks, but it was always one of those things where it just felt like a hustle, it felt like a grind, and really wasn't scalable. So proof of concept was there, but for me, I just knew retail arbitrage was not gonna work long-term wise. I needed a business model that was way more scalable. So fast forward many years, and wholesale was actually what caught my eye. I already had the understanding of Amazon and selling on the platform, but back then I was using no tools. I had no idea what Keepa was. I just had products that people wanted. Buy price was low, I'd sell it on Amazon, I'd list $1 below, and I would make sales same exact day. But it wasn't until I got into wholesale when I realized how deep Amazon actually goes. It wasn't until I started doing wholesale when I realized, wow, I needed a lot more money for inventory. I needed more software to make better buying decisions because now I'm buying hundreds of units instead of 1 or 2 products. Now, a misconception is that you have to source hundreds, thousands of suppliers to find a profitable one. That's just not the case. I started out with one distributor. This was one local distributor, one person I had a connection to, but reality was they weren't doing anything on Amazon and they were selling to a couple e-com sellers. I realized that opportunity early, and I didn't even buy inventory. I offered to list their products for them on the website. So what I did was search through all their brands, I looked at what they were carrying, I'd list it on Amazon, facilitate the whole process, and get a % commission on sales. Now I started scaling with that distributor. We're opening up more and more brands, we're selling more products, but naturally, when you are not working directly with the brand, you will run into problems selling their stuff on Amazon. So even though I was buying legitimate products through a legitimate supplier, I personally was not authorized to sell their stuff on Amazon. And so after a while, you start losing more and more brands, and that's what frustrated me. Wholesale was like glorified arbitrage. It was the hamster wheel. I could only sell if I was constantly hunting. Even when I found a brand, if I wasn't authorized and 100% their go-to guy, every product had a shelf life. So there would be products I'd sell for a month, there'd be products I sold for a year, but if Amazon, I didn't have the green light, eventually they'd cut me off. So naturally, like majority of Amazon sellers, I realized, oh, I need to either own a brand or partner directly with the brands, and that's exactly when I shifted into doing brand direct wholesale and partnering with brands to help them manage their Amazon platform. Now at this point, it's probably 2021 when I started having this realization, but it took a while because I'm making money from my distributor. I'm making money doing these bulk buys. So it's really hard to cut off your stream of income, even though you know there's better opportunities out there. I started to slowly transition. I'm working with more and more brands, but I'm still buying and reselling like any other reseller. I'm opening up wholesale accounts left and right. I'm placing orders. Some stuff's a winner, some stuff's a loser, but it's the cycle, right? And then boom, 2023 comes around. So at this point, call it half and half. I'm half wholesale, distributors buying in bulk. I'm half brand direct, helping brands grow. We place one order with a distributor, $5,000 worth. At this point, my account was doing over $1 million in revenue per month. So a $5,000 order is nothing. This was with a new supplier as well. So what happens? I buy the product, it looks good, making sales, it's profitable, and then boom, I get a notification on my account that I've gotten a counterfeit complaint directly from the brand. I'm thinking, okay, man, like I go back to my distributor, I tell him, hey, like, can you help me out at all here? I need some invoicing, I need to see your supplier invoice, like Amazon's cracking down hard on this. Ultimately, my guy ghosted me. He disappeared. He says, oh, okay, I'll do what I can, blah, blah, blah. Weeks go on, and he gives me no information. And at this point, Amazon had given me probably 10 days to respond to the case. I'd already responded multiple times, but they wanted more information. 10 days goes by and my account gets deactivated. That same account that I was selling back in 2010 gets deactivated 13 years later for selling a counterfeit product. I'll say counterfeit because in the eyes of Amazon, whether it was counterfeit or not, if you don't have legit invoices and supply chain that leads directly back to the manufacturer, they will deem your product counterfeit. So if somebody files a complaint and you don't have the paperwork to lead back to the brand, you will get deactivated. So for me, this was a very dark time in my life. A lot of stuff was going on, and ultimately when you're a business owner, everything falls back on your lap. So it comes back to me. I have to figure out what the hell we're gonna do, right? At this point, we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in Amazon's fulfillment centers. They're holding our funds. We can't make any sales, we're toast. But luckily, I had account number 2. So back in the day, Amazon was very strict on having multiple accounts. Since then, they've gotten a lot more lenient on that policy. So you can have a second account as long as you have a completely different business EIN, completely different business address, different business bank account, and in the words of Amazon, you need to have a legitimate business need. So for me, my legitimate business need was, okay, I'm working directly with brands, but I'm also still doing wholesale, I'm doing arbitrage. I was doing a little bit of online arbitrage at this point at the same time. But it was stupid, right? Because on my main account, the one that got deactivated, I still had a number of brands selling on that account. So account goes down, I still have the backup though. Couple brand direct selling, and ultimately from there, this is October 2023, 100% of my focus was on scaling my brand direct account, getting that back up to similar numbers. I knew it was gonna be lower, but that was the cost of doing business. There was some suppliers I just couldn't buy from anymore. You know, those gray area suppliers where you know the product's legit, but invoice might not be 100% clean. None of that was worth it in my eyes anymore. I had a family to take care of, employees to pay, a lot of bills to pay. I took a loan from Amazon for 7 figures at this point. And so I'm in the hole, right? I'm stressed, heavily stressed throughout this. This was months. But here's the thing, that breakdown is exactly what led me to my breakthrough. Since then, I realized, you know what, I'm only working directly with brands or with distributors that can point me directly to brands. I'll talk about that later because that's also very important. So fast forward 6 months, I end up getting my account back. So now I have multiple accounts, but I still have the same philosophy. None of that gray area shady stuff is worth it. 100% I need to do this brand direct thing. It's working, I already have a couple wins. Why not just double down on that? And that's exactly what I did. So for the past 1.5 years now, we've been partnering with more and more brands and now have over 30 brands in our brand registry account. I realized too, the brand management skill was a skill that was heavily in demand. There's so many people that have money, they want to open an account, they want to place an order, but they're not really adding any value, right? Like at the end of the day, everybody has $10,000 to spend on a PO. Okay, maybe not everybody, but a huge amount of people would do that for the right account. But not everybody can create listings for brands, run advertising for them, fix their existing listings, help kick off the unauthorized sellers, and a number of other things. And so that's exactly what I started learning more and more about. And quick tip here, you don't have to know it all, right? A lot of this Amazon stuff is very complex, but what I did was hire a team of virtual assistants. So my team is way more involved in the day-to-day than I am, right? They're the ones creating listings. They're the one doing the graphic design, doing the keyword research. You don't have to know how to do it all. You just have to know how to do a little bit, find somebody who's an expert in that field, And then when you're communicating with brands, you have a team behind you that helps you do all these things. That's exactly what I did up to this point. I've built a team of VAs. We have about 15 that are full-time for the business, and they do everything A to Z. What I do now is only the brand relationships. So I'm contacting brands, closing accounts, building the relationship, going to trade shows and in-person events. And that's what I have the most leverage in. That's where you can actually thrive and separate yourselves from every other Amazon seller. So you need to ask yourself, what is my advantage over other sellers, right? If you're doing retail arbitrage, maybe you have a local store that not everybody can get to. Okay, I get that. If you're doing online arbitrage, do you have coupon codes that no one else has access to? Do you know an account manager for a store and you get a special discount? Okay, you have a little bit of leverage. But with wholesale and brand management, you are the leverage. So the stronger you get and the more solid your position is, that's something that nobody can take away from you. And there's so many brands out there, guys. Like, you don't need to have 100 brands to do $1 million a month. You could have one brand doing that. You could have 3, 5. It doesn't really matter how many. It depends on the quality of brands. So we've now partnered with over 50 brands. We're actively working with probably 30. So there's been 20 brands come in, go out, not worth it for them, not worth it for us, whatever the case may be, but that's the name of the game. And for those ones that do stick, you need to prove to them why you are irreplaceable, why you differ from every other seller out there. And to be honest, it doesn't take that much. What I realized, especially having connections with retailers, distributors, and a number of brands, is that everybody is doing the bare minimum. Everybody wants to open that account. And for a lot of you guys, you are opening that account. You're getting the win opening that brand direct. But what I realized is, what does that mean if they're gonna allow everybody to have that account? If they're gonna allow 20 other sellers to have that account? And on some brands, even if they have 5 others, 3 others, there may not be enough volume to go around. So then the question comes, what are your partners doing, right? So I talk to so many brands, and this is one of those things where a lot of you have heard this already. Sorry, no Amazon sellers, right? You need to say, what is your current Amazon partner doing other than buying and reselling? Are they fixing up the listings? Are they thinking about bringing new products to the marketplace? Those are all things that you can do and actually separates yourselves from 99% of other sellers. And one thing that was insanely important that I learned throughout my account deactivation is that relationships are everything. When I got shut down, I had a number of brands I was already working with. There's so many people who would have said, oh, wait, you're not buying anymore? Okay, on to the next guy up. I explained the situation to my brands. They understood. They were graceful with their time with me. They understood orders might be slow for a little bit, but we had a plan of action in getting them back up and running. If I didn't have those relationships, I would have went under. I would have lost everything. But when you build that solid foundation, you build trust. That's what lasts long term. So it didn't matter about how much I was spending, it mattered about how much value I was adding. And this is how you actually can make real money on Amazon. While every other seller is competing over pennies, dropping the buy box, you're gonna own your listings. You will own the buy box. And the best part about working with brands is you actually will grow them. If a brand is doing $25,000 a month, even $50,000 a month, but they have no storefront, their listings need a lot of work, I guarantee if you fix that up, you could nearly double those numbers for them. That's huge. And ultimately, we all know this is the future of reselling on Amazon. Arbitrage and wholesale flippers will eventually get wiped out, and the only people who will stay are brand registered sellers who have a relationship to the brand. Not flipping clearance bins, not scanning textbooks, Walmart clearance aisles, but instead owning your lane, building with leverage, and actually scaling properly. So I hope you guys liked this video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want my help landing brand direct accounts, click the link below and let's talk.